Chapter 8b, Part 2. Finding equations of diagonal straight lines and intersections. So, in this second part of the chapter, we will actually be finding the equation of diagonal straight lines and also where lines intersect. Intersect basically means where do the two lines cross at the same time, at what specific coordinate. So here we go. First thing you need to do is on an axis from -6 to 6, draw the square with the following coordinates. And when I say to draw, we use axes from -6 to 6. Basically, you go from -6 on one end to 6 on the other end, 6 on one end to -6 on the other end. So at this time, go ahead and do part A. So if you did part A, you should have something that looks somewhat like this. Now it says to find the equation of the diagonals in the square. So the diagonals basically, you have one diagonal that goes this way, then you have a second diagonal that goes the other way. So like we talked about, you have lines, when lines go diagonal, they always have a y equals some number with an x next to it, adding or subtracting some number here. If you have lines that are just y equals some number, usually those lines always run horizontally because they cross through the y-axis. If you have x equals something, that means those numbers always run vertically because they cross through the x-axis. So if we look at the yellow line, which is the first diagonal, it crosses through the x at 3. So therefore, your equation for that orange line, yellow-orange line, would be x equals 3. Then for the other diagonal, the red one, notice it crosses the y-axis at 4. So therefore, the next equation would be y equals 4. And that's pretty much it. It's more complicated when we have to deal with diagonals, which we will explore further in the next chapter. Finally, draw the graphs of the following lines on the axes, then find the coordinates of the point where the two lines intersect. So, reminding you that in order to draw these, you must create a table of values. So you have your x, you have your y, give it at least 3 coordinates, so 0, 1, 2. You can really use any x value as you wish. You can use 100, 200, 500, a million. But realistically, since we have a graph that's like this, we're not going to use numbers that are not on the grid. So use realistic numbers, but you have ultimate control of the value of x. And then once you've done that, once you have drawn the lines, then we will explore part B. Okay, so you should have two lines that look something like this. The red line is y equals x plus 2, and the orange line is y equals 2x minus 1. Now in B it says find the coordinates of the point where the two lines intersect, meaning where do they cross? They intersect exactly right here at this coordinate, which happens to be 3, 5. And that's it. So that's the end.